HR runs away. Here we are live. Hey, folks, come on in. We see you out there.
I see you.
Come on in. Stone's here, and he didn't bring the cookies again.
No. Hold on. No, I got an update. I went to the store. It was a $6 tray of assorted cookies. Now there may or may not be oatmeal raisin. Hey, I didn't put my hands on them. I'm just saying, I didn't put my hands on them this time.
We're getting a back echo from somewhere.
Is it me? Hey, I didn't put my hands on them. Is it me? Hold on.
Okay, it's not from C.
Hold on.
Oh, right here. Okay. Yeah, it was me. Sorry.
That was you? Okay.
Okay. No big deal.
No, it's okay. It's not like it was a bat dick or anything, you know.
It's just no controversy.
I can start with it.
No controversy there. No.
Yeah, none. Come on in, folks. Come on. It's a ZimmCast. We're all here. This is a family-oriented program.
Real family-oriented.
Like Texas Chainsaw kind of family.
We're TVMA DLSV. Don't let anybody fool you.
Please don't. Or
there will be frank discussions. We have a warning label right at the start of the show as we get running here.
Oh yeah.
I've got a new ending. I didn't tell Nita. It'll be fun.
Ooh, you got a new ending. Can we use the ending where he's like, "Can you draw the Flintstones?" Can we use that?
We can actually we can use that now.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
So is that what that looks like? I've heard about this dude all the time, and it was like,
Ethan Biscaver?
Yeah, I have heard of him. I mean, I don't have a fucking opinion. It's just it's funny because like I've heard of him, but it's like going like, oh, and he's like this guy, and I don't know what he looks like, and then now I finally know what he looks like. I'm like, oh, okay. I could have like not been lazy and Googled him, but I just didn't feel like it because
that was from like a year or so ago. I don't think he looks like that anymore. He's since dyed his beard and done all sorts of weird things.
Oh wow!
All right.
Well, I was trying to get all Fabio on us.
Well, he is a worshiper of Fabio anyway. But
there you go.
And he'll be the first to admit it. Yep. Come on in, everybody. It's the ZimmCast for the 20th of April, 2022. We are here watching Christy Shin do her stuff.
Oh yeah,
I can actually draw.
Working on her artwork. This is awesome.
I can't draw for shit. You know what I'm saying? And like every time I see illustrators,
you tried.
Well, yeah, that's true, Grandmaster Sim. That's true. So every time I see,
I'll do an instructional video on how to draw shit. It'll be great.
I want to be the first to see it. Okay.
I mean, the one that came up with that poop emoji really made some money off of it. So.
Oh man, what are you talking about?
I bet they didn't. I bet they were just a corporate cut. What do you think about this? What is it? It's a poop with eyes on it. Oh, that'll be great. The kids out there will love it. Yeah.
Damn, Sony.
So Grant was like, I like the art still, and I'm not sure who's drawing, but it looks cool. Oh, that's me.
Yeah, Grant. Yeah. What's up, Mitch?
Mitch
Rogers.
Mitch in the house says good morning or good evening. Mitch. He says Manson family oriented. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, hey kids, Grant says.
Hey, Grant.
I like the art style. Not sure who's drawing it, but it looks good. Yeah.
That's cool. It's because it's Christy.
It's Christy Shin.
Yeah,
AKA Demon Bitch.
We'll get to introductions here in a minute. Let's run the opening and the warning label so that everybody knows where we stand. So,
roll that
a pile of poo. We're not sure yet. Here we go. I didn't prep a new intro.
Oh, that's all right.
So
you've got the awesome intro.
We'll just use this with the short countdown, much shorter than C's countdown. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Warning! The following program is rated TV-MADLSV and is intended for mature audiences. Expect adult expletives, adult situations, and video clips of people you might find offensive. The opinions expressed in this podcast are entirely the responsibility of the person speaking and or typing, and in no way meant to reflect the opinions of the Ragin' 2 Podcast Network. No children, small pets, floppy titties, or Russian bots were harmed bringing this podcast to you. Thank you, and have a great day.
Have a Day, yes. Sorry. I
Great.
was in the middle of typing. Still in the middle of typing.
Yeah, you're fine. You got a handle. You're the DJ.
I'm working on getting a special guest in and just send him an invitation. I'm not sure who's going to show up. I sent out a lot of links and just spread them out like seeds. And this is what happens.
We're just shooting our seeds everywhere.
Like
you know
the
what I'm
70s
saying?
key party.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right, that's fine.
All right.
That was last weekend.
Hey, everybody. I am your host for the ZimmCast. I'm Grandmaster Zim.
That's
or
right.
Randy Zimmerman or Zim or whatever you want to call me. I've been a producer of independent and alternative comics for many decades. Many decades. I was associated with Arrow Comics. I've had work printed by a lot of different alternative and independent comic companies, a lot of whom are no longer around, but did a lot of odd jobbing for quite a while and done a lot of stuff and ran a comic shop for 10 years or so. Met my wife while I was retailing and knew after we went to see Beetlejuice that she was a keeper. So
Oh yeah.
that was it. We've been together ever since. But anyway, also did a comic newspaper for a decade called Flint Comics and Entertainment because that's pretty close to my hometown. I live in Burton, but Flint, Michigan is really close. Yes, that Flint, Michigan. I'm about 2 miles south of the bad water line, most of which have still not been replaced. But that's a whole nother story. That's not why we're here. We're here to talk comics and the industry and to, vent. We're here to get it out. There's so much going on and so much to be ignored. So, because it's like useless. We were talking earlier about Connor Hawk, which I don't have an article on. I watched a lot of videos and every last one of them said, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
And then they showed the character sheet for the character, and I went, who the hell drew up that costume? Jesus. Cut off sweatshirt and a little midriff showing and just all sorts of weird things going on.
Total 80s, huh?
Oh, crazy tones. Yeah.
In the worst way.
I'm
the
kind
worst
of
way.
sounding lame, but what is he doing? I'm sorry, like I don't keep
He's
up.
Green Arrow's son, I think, something like that.
Oh, so he has like a midriff.
Yeah. Kind of I will find it and I will show it to you.
Bing images.
I will bing it. Yes, I will.
Bing it. Bill Gates. This one's for you.
Yeah, see, the thing is that like I get disgusted with a lot of the costumes lately, and people are going, "Oh, why?" And I said, "Because you have such horrible taste."
It's
This is bad.
It's absolute shit. You know when something is trash, and then when you know the difference between somebody put some effort into a design or a concept, and then you take a look at something else. It's like this is absolute garbage. Like, what were you guys smoking at the time? Now
it's like I can understand somebody trying to pitch the costume as a possible, use, but the editor that approved it probably be let go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that pisses me off about shit like that is that they tend to not have good. And again, I'm not trying to dog people for the sake of dogging people, but it's like sometimes they don't really have good costume design. So it's like they're not fashionable. And I know people like, well, they're fighting, Christy. Why are they supposed to be fashionable? It's like, yes, but I don't want to have my eyes blow up every time I see their fucking outfit. Like it has to actually kind of look cool to me.
I don't want to have to rinse my eyes out with hydrochloric acid. You know what I'm saying? Every time I look at it.
One of my friends, he was saying like, yeah, because my friend is bisexual, and he was bisexual one time when you could get your ass kicked for that, right? And so it's like talking about his nephew who identifies as they, them, and he was saying like, well, his girlfriend, he was trying to struggle with the pronouns a bit, but he said like, he's so brave and he's so brave. Like he was kind of being sarcastic because like he said, if they found out he was bi, he would have gotten his ass kicked. So he said, yeah, his girlfriend who is a set dresser dressed him up, and he described it. It's like, mesh half shirt, floral pattern, and my face just got really disgusted. And he's like, what? I said, that really disgusts me. You know why? And he said, why? And I said, she's a set decorator. She would have to have better taste.
She should. But
I'm sorry.
She sets up sets over at Goodwill of the
See,
system.
See, the thing
okay.
is that like the whole non-binary
Monroe,
anxiety
Louisiana.
thing is not completely a new thing. You just had better clothes back then. Like, what is this fucking Walmart Billie Eilish shit? You know, it's like I have to dress like that when I get cold.
This must be so recent. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a picture of it. Oh yeah.
You found it?
Yep. Yeah, I did. And this is actually this is actually a well-drawn picture. This is not what the character sheet looked like. It actually looks a little cooler than
just a little bit, maybe 10-12% cooler.
Probably, yeah. Than
Maybe
what it was before.
20%, just round it up.
Oh man, I knew that reference.
I think that was like fucking Vanity from like they said that to Vanity and My Little Pony.
What the hell? Yeah.
That's like 90s. You're right. It's kind of 90s throwback. I'm like, what? That looks like that fucking muscle shirt you would wear in the gym, like the guys would.
Yeah, and the actual character sheet, it looked like a ripped up sweatshirt with a hooded sweatshirt.
See, I thought. See,
there he actually looks
like
muscular and he looks heroic. But yeah, in the character sheet that they had was definitely well, I guess you would say it was definitely asexual. So
okay. I'm kind of looking at that like, okay, it looks like a fucking gym outfit.
Yeah,
right, it does.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm waiting for
domino
what's the
mask.
guy? Richard Simmons. He was like, "All right, ladies, let's go. Let's kick it. 1, 2, 3." You know, I'm ready for. Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around.
Yes, he doesn't show himself off very often, though.
I think he's got old and he's upset about that. I'm not saying that to be mean, but a lot of the older celebrities are like that. You know, they'll like don't want to show themselves off because they've gotten old.
They've gotten older.
Yeah, but I was just looking at that. I said that's kind of not the greatest outfit ever.
It's not.
I don't know why. It's not. I just don't.
It doesn't ring anything with me. It doesn't. Doesn't communicate anything to me. It's just there. Okay. The only thing you can say is just all right.
Here's what the toy looks like of the same character. That's his older costume.
See, that was better. That actually looks like it's more utilitarian. Like, what the fuck's the other thing?
Yeah. I don't know. Where did they go wrong?
Well, he is Green Arrow Light, so I mean,
I'm just kind of thinking that's a little weird fucking thing. It's just like, as I said, it's just like I think they kind of need to get some fashion design in.
A lot of the stuff that DC does anymore is weird.
About that.
Well,
it's
I mean,
the only way you can describe it.
When they designed the Flash's costumes, that was pretty cool. Like when they did the Wonder Woman costumes, they were pretty cool. But I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? Why is that a 90s fucking muscle ass shirt or some bullshit?
Yeah.
just waiting on them, to play some ABBA, maybe.
Joe's in the house. Joe, evening.
Oh, we got Joe.
You're home again. Joe, I'll send you a link if you want to come in. You're welcome to join.
Yeah, we got a plate of cookies. There's foldable chairs in the front.
Yeah, we got chairs in the front of the room.
There's coffee. I brought the coffee again, Grandmaster. I know.
I brought my own.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
All good.
I got electrolyte water, so
I got that
doctor's
too.
orders.
So
see, look at that.
Because
we're getting older, Christy. Because we're getting older.
I don't understand the color scheme there because the color scheme looks very Aquaman. Looks like
in fact, it's more washed out in the actual character sheet.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That's why I'm sitting there looking at that, going, "Who the hell approved this mess?"
Well, it's like this. I kind of have to laugh at it because it's like, well, who his real father is.
It doesn't matter if he's, what his sexual preference is. He's got to have a better sense of dressing.
He's got a much better sense of fashion.
You would think, yeah.
Well, that's why I get kind of annoyed with people lately. They said, "I am this." And then they go like, okay, great. And they look like they just rolled out of bed and after 5 days, like not changing their fucking shirt or like actually trying to comb their hair. It's like,
they look like a disaster. Is what
they need a guy like the tailor from Black Lightning going around going, "Let me make you a better suit."
I mean, it's just as I said, that sometimes it can be used as a joke. Like One Punch Man, he had like kind of a crappy suit, and wasn't great, but it was like he was a better superhero than actually looking flashy.
But everybody knew, everybody was in on the joke,
Yeah, like it's a bit
part of the story. Yeah, but then that's not what the premise is. And so it's kind of like, what are you guys trying to communicate? What are you? Yeah, presentation. And if this were the Olympics, we had a scorecard -6.9.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I just think it's highly unimaginative. I think I would have just added better stuff. Like if you actually like study archery shit, that would probably be better.
Well, they don't.
Oh, wait a
Obviously,
minute.
look at them.
Definitely.
Period.
Study archery shit because he's an archer. Duh. Yeah.
Duh.
You know what'd look awesome? A cut off hooded sweatshirt. Yeah. And cut it off that midriff too. So you could
That sounds
see his
great,
name.
Jim.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what's funny?
Sell it, print it.
Zach Morris's hairstylist. Zach Morris, it's funny because like you think on Saved by the Bell, he's the whitest kid, right? He's the whitest kid ever.
Yeah.
The actor is actually half Dutch Indonesian.
Yeah.
It's really funny because like when I've seen him when he doesn't have his hair dyed blonde, he looks more Asian, but he doesn't look super Asian. That's the thing. It's like, but I'm like, oh, I see it now, but it's not like it's not like this whole
Good
thing.
Lord, man. Yeah.
He was really upset because he got kind of pigeonholed into being that type of character. He actually is nothing like that character, supposedly.
Yeah, he probably because he was a teenager when he fucking played that character. So it was like, I've outgrown that fucking character. Like I know that Robert Pattinson like fucking hated Edward because he said, "What the fuck's wrong with that guy? He's like creepy as fuck." But he had to play him.
Yeah, he's still playing him. Anyway.
Well.
The wife is.
Well, now
the
he's
wife is
graduated to
constantly-
Batman, so he's got cooler clothes now there.
When we sit and watch television, the wife is constantly pointing out the culture of individual actors, especially if they're Hispanic or Latina, and because she's Hispanic.
Oh,
But and I'm like, I just thought they looked the way that they did. I didn't have no thought about culture or background.
It didn't
or
take
anything.
2 seconds. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just okay, but that's cool. And you didn't go further than that. George, we got George in the house. George is he is in the house. Good evening, everyone. George
hey
says.
George,
good
what's
evening,
up?
George. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Mitch Rogers also in the house. Mitch was on Dispatches from Outside the Box last night.
Sure
Modern
was.
superheroes really need Edna Mode from The Incredibles to make better costumes. Yes, they do.
Agreed. Mr.
Agreed.
Rogers.
Yes.
Agreed.
There we are. My phone just made that bell noise. Yeah.
See, it's permeating through the universe. We're all in agreement here. All agreement. Come on in, everybody. Everybody's piling in. I'm so happy to see you guys. Look, there's more foldable chairs in the closet, but you need to get the key from C. But he has sweaty hands, so I don't know about that. So that's up to you.
There's enough chairs. There should be enough chairs set up.
Come
on in, everybody. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the Raging 2 Network yet, you need to do that right now, and you need to hit that like button. I would tell you to hit the love button, but Stone always giggles whenever I tell people to hit the love button. But hit that button anyway.
Just hit the button, guys, so I can giggle in my sleep like that. I'm like, they hit the love button.
I'm gonna get a clip. I'm gonna get a clip from Beavis and Butthead just for you. Yeah, exactly.
Miss Raina. Yo, wow, Miss Raina, what's good?
Yeah, Miss Raina, how are you? Hope you're
Good
doing well.
to you.
She is in the house as well. Hope your campaign's doing well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and all the links.
Kickstarter for George. Yeah. We've got links running in the chat. We've got Nita working behind the scenes. So
thank you,
our
Nita.
HR.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I introduced myself. I didn't allow everybody else to introduce themselves. So see, Michael, if you're close, there you are. If you're on the mic, introduce yourself, see.
Hey, I'm C. Michael Lanning, independent artist and mad scribbler. I've done work for Arrow Comics and some other folks. And also one of the panelists over on Dispatches from Outside the Box with a couple other people I see every once in a while.
Some oddball nuts that
some
gather along the way. Yeah. Next Tuesday's Dispatches from Outside the Box is going to be covering comic strips. So if you've ever wanted to see what Gilbert Gottfried looked naked, now's the time.
No, thank you. No.
Sign me up.
No, we're talking
Joe.
Joe.
Yes,
Joe.
I was summoned. I heard the call of the great and powerful Zim, so I showed.
I am the great and powerful Zim.
Every time I heard of like Zim, I think of like Invader Zim. It's like he like attacks Zim.
I met Jorge once. I think that's his name.
Oh, Jonah
Hernandez, right? No,
the guy that's
Vasquez.
the guy who does.
Vasquez, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
Jonah
yes,
Jonah
yes,
Vasquez.
that's it. Vasquez, yes.
That's it.
Yeah,
I met him at a
Johnny-
San Diego show once. Asked him for a picture of Squee.
Oh yeah.
And he
Oh,
took
yeah?
a magic marker. I'm serious. He took a magic marker. I had my sketchbook, and I've had a sketchbook
That's
for
right,
years
the
that I have
sketchbook,
people that I
yeah.
really respect in the industry to do sketches in. Took the sketchbook, took a magic marker, planted it on the page, and looked right at me while he was drawing.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
And I'm
That
like,
is
like
awesome.
watching him draw and looking at him and going, yeah, good, doing well, you know. And he drew me up a quick squeak. Probably took him 5 minutes tops.
That
No,
is insane.
no pencil marks, just magic marker.
Just whipped it up.
Ironically, it's the
Grandmasters.
most popular
Just phenomenal.
drawings and cartoons that cartoon characters that actually take the least amount of time. Weirdly enough,
Mhm.
because I think you get to see the more natural sketches, like with Squee or Johnny, the homicidal maniac, or Feller Bunny. That you have that. But also, I've noticed, like with Sarah Scribbles, if you know Sarah Anderson, that's the buggy-eyed chick and everything. It's really
No, I'm not
set
familiar with
style.
that.
But if you actually look at her fancier work or more in-depth work, it's just look up Sarah Scribbles. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
she will draw really, really, really nicely. But the thing is that she's known for Sarah Scribbles. That's like wildly popular, and it's like a very simple very simple pen drawing.
Yeah.
But that tends to be a lot more popular a lot of the time. Like Demon Bitch, that's way more popular than the fancier shit I have out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. I work mainly in a cartoony type style, but I could draw serious if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
I
have
just
to.
choose not to. Yeah.
So how you
If
doing?
people
Joe?
they find that cartoony appeal. Maybe that's more, I don't know, approachable. Maybe that's the word for. I don't.
It's
know.
kind of what I prefer to work in. We're looking at Christy Shin's artwork right now here on the screen. So we're also joined by Stone Abdullah. Stone,
Oh.
introduce yourself.
Hello, folks. My name's Stone, not a cop. Abdullah. I'm. That's my DJ
That's what
name.
they all say when they really are cops.
Yeah.
And I
We
put
all-
that there
we all
for a
know.
reason, because I worked for the feds for a few years in research and development under a branch of the DoD. High performance computing, machine learning, AI, that sort of stuff. And before that, I was doing modeling and hurricanes and stuff like that. But way before all that, hey, science.
When
sci-fi
he
writer.
wasn't busy with time displacement experiments.
Yeah. When that wasn't happening, I was writing in sci-fi land. It was so cool. I'm still writing. So I got this thing. Wait a minute, hold on. Journey of the Shadow. That's my current pet project. I've been doing that for a while, and I love it. I love hanging out with these guys, these weirdos, on this show on Tuesday with this C. Michael Lanning guy and Grandmaster. It gets weird.
Mitch says Invader Zim is Randy's DJ name.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I know.
correct, Mitch.
Nice.
That's correct.
There you go.
We're just adding people as we go along. We're also
on in,
joined
folks.
today by Christy Shin. Christy, introduce yourself to our to our audience.
Yeah, I do a comic called Demon Bitch. She's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit and gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid. She's based on girls I fucking hate, and currently I'm running a Kickstarter to print her fourth book and to create the first level of a computer game. So, yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
you get a purse charm of Animu Demon, which is basically the Sailor Moon form of Demon Bitch. And you actually get 3 original prints by Mary Zorlita Bellamy. You also get a pin set of 2 of Tamagotchi pins, one of those stupid, happy, and dumb, angry face, where it's glow in the dark. And then you have the Tiki pin, patch and sticker. And if I get past a certain point, like 7,500, I will do hardcover. And secondly, if I pass like $8,000, I'll give enclosed free pasties with all the physical rewards.
Free pasties.
Sure.
Free pasties.
I mean,
And at
hey,
7K,
you can't beat that.
because right now I'm like $40 shy, roughly, of $5,000. The thing is, when I hit 7K, Rich Parada is going to go and do a dance with pasties. I told him not to wax or shave.
No wax or
He'll do
shave.
it too.
You guys
Definitely
he'll do
one
it.
for the podcasting record books, I'm sure.
He
Oh
will.
yeah.
Volunteered.
I'll tune in.
That'll
Yep.
go on his permanent record.
Yeah, the crazy fucker volunteered. I mean, he got his like head shaved. I said, "You look like a fucking scrotum."
Oh, but
Sim, how you doing? Are you good?
I'm good. Yeah, sorry, the kids came in at the same time, and I just saw the link, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even see you guys on. I went to see on YouTube. It doesn't even say you're on. And what's
It doesn't.
up?
Damn it.
It doesn't.
What's wrong with you people?
I got the notification. It's on my phone right here. It says ZimmCast
It shows
number 8.
that you guys are on certain channels, but not on all of them. And that's
No,
what
it says
all of
yeah.
them.
Well, we're discriminating. That's all.
Yeah, that's
We have
equal
class.
opportunity.
We're only on the
discriminators.
better channels.
Dude, there's so many streams that it says like just went live. You click on it, and it goes was live an hour ago. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lies.
Well, that's
lies.
YouTube or Facebook staying on top of their programming.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
give you
Good job, guys.
Good
Yeah,
guys.
Good job, Google.
so how are you guys doing today?
We're doing
Oh,
great,
man.
Sim. Why don't give me just a second because Joe come in ahead of you, and Joe hasn't introduced himself yet,
Oh, sorry.
and then we'll get to you, Sim. Joe, introduce yourself.
Oh, I am Joe D. McPhee, president of CGC Studios, creator of Amazonia Primetime Saturday Night and AWF, in which Amazonia issue number 7 is going to come out in May, and we're going to crowdfund for that. So if you've been paying attention, I've been posting about our launch page here where you can get notified once we go live sometime around May 20th to 22nd. I haven't really worked everything out yet. Not everything out as far as the launch party and everything like that, but the Kickstarter page and everything is there. It's just that we're not planning to have it official launch until sometime in May.
Throw a link for that up in the private chat.
Oh, it's already been there.
Is it? Good.
Yeah.
Already there. Awesome.
It's already there.
man.
Nita's on the ball on that.
Nita behind the scenes is on the ball.
Yeah.
All right,
Human resource.
Sim.
Yep.
Introduce yourself, buddy.
Well, my name is Simon Sympatier. Everybody calls me Sim, and please, everybody call me Sim. And I'm the creator of Bloodhunt, Telson and Adverse. And Telson and Adverse 2 is right now on funding on Indiegogo, 110%. Right now, we unlock a free print, and we're looking to unlock the extra story at 7,500, which we're pretty goddamn close.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Sim.
And
Gonna get there.
check out my YouTube. I've been doing some really cool animation, and I'm doing the first animated series of Nat the Merc.
That's cool. Good.
Sim. All just melting faces.
And we may be joined by other people as we go along, but that's all right. That's all part of the ZimmCast. We were just bitching about how bad DC is, but that's normal anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I saw. I saw a link and it says I want to bitch about some comics. I'm like, and I'm sure you do too. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm on. What's up?
Mostly what I did was I just didn't like the character design of I guess the new Green Arrow, or what was it? The character
Connor Hawk, the asexual Connor Hawk.
Asexual Connor Hawk.
All the videos I see are all who gives a fuck.
Who gives a flying fuck?
Who cares?
I don't care.
Yeah.
No one cares.
DC, these idiots up there in their high towers think that it's so important to be realistic with a fantasy-based superhero character that they have to. Oh, you know what'd be original? Oh, we're gonna make Connor Hawk asexual, not bisexual or gay or any of that LBGTQB. He's
I have no problem with this, but why do you give them fucking shitty clothes? That's the problem I have.
But it's not
true.
just that.
Shitty clothes.
Absolutely.
But it's not just that. They're trying to bring in a new character. They're trying to sell a new character as it's asexual, right? It's like, can you do it like most people would do? And just do it by saying a fucking story.
Just
Like not just come in and go like, look, that character is asexual. No, just say, look at this character, and throughout the story, you make it known that he's asexual. Like somebody comes up to him and he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it should be an accidental. Yeah.
happenstance or something.
Yeah,
part of
the whatever
just
happens.
Write the fucking story and write a good story. Whatever the fuck happened to that. I don't care what the fucking character is. I'm gonna get off myself.
Giving me flashbacks to Nubia and the Amazons #1.
So you have so many people, these characters now, not people, but these idiot characters that are on these books that stand there and they don't just announce their gender preference, but they announce it proudly and then give a long speech that lasts for pages about how great it is to be the gender choice of whatever they do. When, like Sim said, it would be so much cooler for some woman to hit on Connor and for him to go, get the hell away from me.
Get the fuck away from me.
Not interested. And then
I would love to read that.
Have the girl go, oh, so you're into guys, huh? And go, no, fuck them too. Just get away from me.
Fuck them too.
Well, how long did we go before Wolverine? We found out Wolverine's claws came out of his hand. I mean,
oh, dude, that was quick. That was X-Men 96. And he had been in Hulk, and then he was in Giant Size 1, the 94 and 95. He got captured by the Sentinels, and then he gets loose because he breaks out from the shackles he's in by pulling his claws out and tearing them apart. And Banshee freaks and goes, laddie, fuck, you never told me that those claws were part of your hand or part of your body. And he turns to him and snarls and goes, you never asked me.
There you go. That's how you reveal something.
You never asked me.
I remember when I was a kid, that was it for me. That's like, holy crap, who's writing these books? This is amazing.
This is great.
Because it was an incidental detail. How's Wolverine going to break out of these he had a whole cuff covered all around his hand. He just popped his claws and tore them out and just, tore out of it. And Banshee's sitting there just stunned, going, oh, holy crap, those things come out of the back of your hand. They're not part of your glove. Yeah. How come you never told us that? And he goes, you never asked me.
You never asked. That's beautiful. That's great writing. You know what I'm saying?
That
was that did Lin Win mean that, or was that
might have been Claremont that was writing at that point? I believe that was one of the first couple of Claremont.
Which one was that you talked about?
96.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the first Claremont.
Yeah, but oh, it's the first. I wonder if he talked to Lin Win about it, or if that was Lin Win's idea of the character they created it or not.
They screwed Wolverine's origin up right from the beginning because originally he was a mutated Wolverine. It was supposed to be. And in fact, when he was captured by the Sentinels, there's a scene before that where they're looking at his cowl. They've got his mask up. They unmasked him, and they've got one of the flunkies there has a mask in his hand, and one of the guys looks at him and goes, "Is that guy a mutant? He's registering different. His reading is funny." And he goes, "The Sentinels say he is, so he is." So again, great writing, but they were going to keep that because if you go back and read Giant Size X-Men 1, Xavier wheels around and picks up all these characters cold. You know nothing about the character except for the small introduction that you got. And that's Len Wayne and Cockrum's doing there. I loved X-Men, Giant Size X-Men 1. I literally dissected that book.
Yeah,
I mean, it was in shreds by the time I replaced it. Because Cochran was amazing and Wayne was amazing. Go ahead.
They always said that was the original start of the X-Men. I've always thought that way because I've read previous ones and it was it's really there that it became what it is. Like they came in a bit like the Stormwatch I did. They came in and they wanted to have representative of different countries.
Yeah,
but that's when they had like their own characters and Wolverine became known.
That's when bringing in a diverse cast was a unique and cool thing to write and to do.
It went international.
Yeah, you had such an international cast because Xavier was desperate and he was going around trying to find trained mutants in order to rescue his previous X-Men that were all captured by what's his face, Krakoa, the Living Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Krakatoa or whatever. I don't know if that's the same island that they're currently living on or not. But
Genosha? Is that Genosha?
Not Genosha.
Not Genosha.
It was Krakatoa.
Krakoa was the island.
Yeah, they went to investigate a mutant sighting off of the cyber link that Xavier had, and then they suddenly disappeared. So Xavier went around and collected.
But Giant Size is when it went from just being like regular superhero-ish, the type of like Fantastic Four-ish type of superhero, where it's like the bad guy of the day. That team's gonna go with the awkward moment of life. And when Giant Size came out, it came out with that big story plot where they got kidnapped and there's this and it's when it all started. Like my first initial like exposure to X-Men was the what's his name? Cochran?
Yeah,
Cochran. Yeah,
Dave Cochran. Yeah,
yeah, with Claremont, with the Hellfire Club, all that setup there, the space thing, and then what they did with the Jim Lee, Silvestri. Like, to me, that was the defining moment of like what X-Men became something so different from everything else, and it all started from Giant Size 1.
Well, they quickly figured out they had lightning in a bottle, and they had to keep it going. And then they were really lucky to have gotten Claremont in, and then Byrne
The way that they did.
and Austin in the way that they did, because Cochran couldn't keep up to a monthly book.
And there was Scott Lobdell
deadline.
too on that team too. That was pretty good too.
Lobdell come in later, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Tom Wojciechowski, I think, was there from the start. He was the letterer on it, and he
came in for
practically all of the Byrne Austin run.
Yeah,
I think he did letter all of the Austin run.
Yeah, he came in at the end and he did the transition to the blue and gold team. I think it was
Lobdell.
Yeah,
that was way later.
That was now you get into late 90s X-Men.
Yeah, that was way later.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it was another great run. Like, it's to me, it was like the last great run of X-Men.
But the key thing
everybody has their favorites,
The key thing was what
Claremont's the top
did in the very beginning. Great. Claremont continued. That's what the major thing, because if it wasn't for the death of Thunderbird and the way that everything happened, it was like almost like it was a continuation of Giant Size 1 going into the actual books.
Yeah.
And once they continue it on that way, now they got a bigger roster to deal with, and now they could get more into the actual storytelling drama, because now you can have stories that branch off to different paths where it became more of a character-driven story.
Yes.
So it's like what was going on with Cyclops was not exactly the same thing that was going on with Wolverine. Wolverine could be across the sea, and Cyclops could be in the United States, and both of those stories would come back and meet up to a point. In that, because I mean, think about Hellfire Club. It was like a lot of character-driven stuff that was going on there. I mean, everything about Jean Grey dying, and then being found, in that Fantastic Four issue in the Cocoon and whatnot, and then the whole thing about Mastermind and dealing with the Phoenix Force and everything, and how all the X-Men played a factor in how the Phoenix entity became what it was, and then the Shi'ar Empire coming into play,
and how they took advantage of that. Remember how they took advantage of that eventually with X Factor, which led to the blue and gold team later on with Scott Lobdell, which like everything happens at the same time. Dude, I used to wait for those X Factor and Claremont X-Men every freaking week. Like, I freaking loved them. Like, the X Factors was another one, and I'm like, it's so underrated, but that run was awesome with Wasp Potato. And it all led to the Cable and all those, great stories.
Right.
I
mean, it led to other side stories that, some people forget about, like the original trial of Magneto.
The Ascani son that led to Cable's birth. And it was amazing. Loved it. I bought the omnibus. It was good. It was awesome.
I feel like we're leaving other people out. So
no. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Let's take
trying
a look
to
at
collect all
what
this stuff and finding
Christie's doing here. Yeah, if you haven't read the original run from like Giant Size 1 up through the Byrne Austin stuff, which a lot of people haven't, it's just classic superhero stuff.
Yeah. There was John Byrne in there too. It was great.
Well, Byrne come in and kind of redefined everything again, and then after that, was it Paul? I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that replaced Byrne on that was also really good. Had a nice, almost fantasy-driven style.
Kind of makes you wonder how much of an effect did Claremont have on Byrne when he took over 100%.
Oh, they were at each other's throats a lot.
Right.
So Byrne left it in order to go and start writing his own stuff, because by the time when X-Men really took off, Claremont went through and defined all of the characters, and to him, in my opinion, to Claremont, they were his babies, and that was it. And Byrne had a particular idea of where the X-Men should go, and Claremont had an idea where X-Men should go. So Byrne left and started doing Alpha Flight. So, in order to keep that going. And those early Alpha Flights too are also classic stuff.
Yep.
Very, very much in the superhero genre, just classic material.
Mm-hmm.
But
Puck was awesome.
Their style was so similar though, and that what makes me wonder how much effect did Claremont have on Byrne, even though they had they fought tooth and nail. I mean, it was
maybe
there.
Byrne learned a lot of writing from Claremont. Is that what you're saying? A lot about writing, but Byrne was writing before that. He had done some short story work for Charlton that was really good. If you hadn't read the ROG 3000 material, it's about a robot running through society and running across different situations. Those were in the back of I think it was Doomsday Plus One was the name of that book from Charlton. That Byrne started at Charlton doing artwork, just like Aparo started over there doing the Phantom. And then went over to DC. Byrne went over to Marvel. Did a couple of issues of Champions, and then got the X-Men gig after probably a couple more fill-ins in addition to that.
Nice.
But and the Byrne style back then was just unique and crisp and beautiful, and some of my favorite comic work.
Also,
now,
influenced Jim Lee. Yeah, like you said, yeah.
Pretty much influenced a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not.
Influenced me.
If you go and look on Byrne's webpage, you'll see right at the division that he had with Claremont was around the death of Phoenix.
Oh,
because Shooter came in and made him kill off Jean Grey because she had killed an entire planet of celery people out in space. And so they had to, Shooter said, that's not what a hero does. She's going to have to die. So what they did is they had a whole, Byrne had a whole secondary story that he wanted to do that basically burned out the Phoenix Force and kept Jean Grey alive pretty much at the level of a fifth grader. But Marvel wasn't going to put up with it. But now that Byrne's left Marvel, he pitched the idea of doing it as an alternate universe version of X-Men, and Marvel turned him down. So he started doing it on his own, and he's been posting a couple of pages of pencil and lettered work the last 3 or 4 years. I think they call it Neverwhere, something like X-Men Neverwhere.
Right, because he brought back Sauron, and they had another adventure in Savage Land dealing with Sauron and those pages and everything. I was like,
Captain Magneto is a villain and did all sorts of, and that stuff is incredible. I mean, it's the work that he's done. You can tell it's a passion project for him. It's just phenomenal stuff. And Marvel is missing out on the boat, but don't ask me to explain their logic or whatever by not printing that material and getting it inked. Because the first thing I'd do is call up Terry Austin and ask him if he's up for it, and just start inking it.
They could do an Elseworld type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's got to be close to 500-600 pages worth of material right now.
But that's the cool thing that Byrne is doing. He's allowing anybody to ink it.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
He put some pages out there. It's like, hey, go at it. I don't care. Just go at it. It's like,
well, it's all in as far as he's labeled it as all fan art because he's a fan of the X-Men and he wanted to do what he wanted to do with it, so that's what he did.
But quick question, I just missed it. The difference between them was who wanted to have her dead or not. Is that it?
No, Shooter demanded that she get killed.
Okay. Yeah, no, but he was asking.
From what I understand,
because you said there was kind of
a different a
quarrel between.
So one wanted her dead, and the other one wanted her alive, type of thing.
Well, Byrne wanted to keep her alive and burn the Phoenix Force out of her, and that's what he did in his Neverwhere book.
Okay, sorry, I missed that part.
There's a great exchange where they end up taking Jean Grey back to her parents, so that's basically what they did. Once, or how he explains it, once they got her, back, she had the mentality of a 5th grader. They went and took her to her parents and said, oops, she's now at the mentality of a 5th grader. We can't handle her. We'll see you later.
Wow.
And just left. And then, of course, they resent Charles. Jean's parents resent Charles for letting that happen to her, and on and on and on. But it's an interesting series, and it's probably the best work that John Byrne's ever done that nobody will ever see. There's some phenomenal work, especially with with Sprite, Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde. There's some really nice touches in that book that are just pretty. Pardon?
Take your pick, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel of multiple names of character.
Yeah. Stone, are you still around? Nope, he's out visiting the restroom, probably.
All right, there you go.
But yeah, dude, they could totally freaking do that as an Elseworld or something, or remember the old What If from like that could be a series of like What If by John Byrne. That would be fucking huge.
Yep.
I remember when they did the one where Charles Xavier was dead. I'm trying to remember, but
he's died a number of times in the book.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it was the one where Magneto ran the X-Men. This was when Charles Xavier got killed.
Yeah,
So
that was the early 200s of Uncanny X-Men, the early 200s. Right after the trial of Magneto, when he stood trial and everything, Xavier died, and he took over the school in Massachusetts, I believe.
Wasn't there a time when something happened to Magneto and he lost his memory? He became amnesia.
Yeah, the Joseph Thorne nonsense.
Yeah, there's been a long thing, but we're talking about X-Men, and now we're losing audience. How do you like that?
We even lost the panelists. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Stone just got blank faced and just left. Christy's been working on her artwork here.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh yeah.
Looking good.
Thank you.
People would have never known that was the first comic book series that I actually paid attention to outside of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was the first comic book that I actually purchased. But as far as collecting for a series, it was Uncanny X-Men.
Wow. We're gonna shift gears here and talk about a different article that I dug up. This is a week old, but it's still important. We talked a little bit last week about the comic values in that, and I dug up this from ICV2.com, and again, we're going to talk about the high cost of comics.
Right.
Mile High copy of Superman #1 becomes the most expensive comic ever sold. Certified Guarantee Company announced that the Edgar Church Mile High 8.0 copy of Superman #1 from 1939 changed hands in a private sale for $5.3 million back in January of 2022.
Oh.
Damn.
The private sale was brokered by Tony Arnold of Tone Trade Enterprises and Roy Delick of Vintage Comics, with both the seller and the buyer remaining anonymous. So it switched hands. Nicolas Cage might have won again.
Yeah, they were talking about having him be Superman again. Or a rumor or something.
Well, I believe he had a copy, and his then wife made him liquidate his collection.
No, he got stolen. You got a big chunk of it stolen.
Okay.
And him and Seinfeld were the two ones with the biggest Superman collection.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They have
copied is tied for the highest rated copy of Superman #1 certified by CGC, and it's part of the Edgar Church Mile High pedigree, which is an 18,000 book collection of pre-55 comics in high grade condition. See Last Mile High Comics. Yeah. The 5.3 million sale puts Superman 1 ahead of Amazing Fantasy 15 at 3.6 million. And Action Comics #1 that sold on Comic Connect for $3.25 million. Another Action Comics #1 that sold for $3.2 million in 2014. And the more recent sale of a CGC near mint 9.4 Captain America Comics #1 from the San Francisco pedigree at $3.12 million. It's a lot of $3 millions being thrown around there.
There you go, right?
A lot of tax deductibles.
So do you think that's going to start opening up a new speculator market?
No, I think this is just the continuation of the speculator market. The prices are still going to continue to jump up as more people have money and want to go after the stuff. Right now, the slab stuff is pretty much a stock certificate anyway, and they're just watching everything rise.
Yeah.
And now that DC, and this sale had gone through before the DC Discovery deal was completed, and the guy that's in charge of the Warner Discovery organization said that Superman is incredibly underrated and underused at the moment. I think you're going to see this book and Action 1 jump pretty hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they approach a 5 million mark before the end of the year, depending upon what they decide to do with the character and what comes up for sale. Because a lot of these collectors aren't going to let a book like that out of their hands easily.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we don't know what Superman. Plus, we don't know what other so-called hidden gems pop up either. You might have somebody that actually can break that record with a 9.0 that they found somewhere in the attic.
Even an 8.1 will break that grade. So you never know who's got what in their attic still or their basement.
No,
the basement's dry.
I saw that there's a rumor it's not certified, but supposedly Cavill's going to be coming back for more Superman.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
could be.
And I'm a Snyderverse guy, so you know.
Yeah.
Actually, how they did Superman, like everybody shat on it, but I actually had to laud him. Like he tried to address certain points.
Yeah, I love the fact that you see the growth of a man to becoming the Superman, not just the perfect icon of Superman. You see the guy making mistakes, getting angry, learning that that's the thing. You're seeing the making of a mental. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the only way right now, with the way the power levels that Superman has, that they can really make him look vulnerable.
Yep.
As when he's younger and when he's learning his morals and the ethics standards that he got from his mom and dad in the middle of Kansas.
Well, and also what kind of fucking annoyed me about Superman, they were like, oh, let's make him fucking emo. Like, fuck you. Like,
yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Like, so you make him fucking dark and emo. It's like, that's easier for you? Like,
that's Batman. Leave that to him.
No, it's not that. It's just that they would never be able to get away with a King Superman story.
Well, writing an ethical, moral character is a lot more difficult than writing an amoral, unethical character.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Especially
and it was like kind of like, okay, that's like kind of stupid, but whatever. I think it's lazy. I think it's lazy in a way.
And yeah, it is. But again, I go back to Miller's Dark Knight for making that happen. For everybody basically turning Superman into a Boy Scout and looking down at him as, oh, well, you just put your finger in your cheek and good old American way. That's not the character. The character was raised in the middle of the United States for a reason. He has a set of morals and ethics that are right there with the middle class.
Right. Yeah, with the heart of what the country was, which was middle class. That was the whole reason why.
Hardworking middle class. Yeah.
But that's a lot of people didn't like the Jupiter's Legacy. I didn't particularly care for the comic. I did enjoy the show because instead of having this, he's supposedly a Boy Scout, but in real life he's a bad guy, like the character in The Boys. I can't remember his name.
Well, again, that's Mark Millar trying to do his own, or Miller.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Trying to do his own version of Superman, which isn't going to work.
The best version of a bad Superman was an Incredible. Invincible, sorry.
But I don't want a bad Superman. That's what I'm saying. What I enjoyed about Jupiter's Legacy was he still had those morals, but he had those morals in a world that didn't share that point of view. And he was trying, and that's what I really liked about that show.
A man trapped outside of time.
Right. You're now dealing with somebody who's trying to maintain who he is, who the morals he believes in a world that just will not let him do it. And that's not what you're getting with these deconstructed, Invincible or The Boys. And
The Boys is like more of a fucking like cynical take on superheroes, pretty much.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm kind of, as I said, try to challenge your own writing and like don't fucking lazy. That's what I have a problem with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just like drawing.
But I mean,
myself about shit. And I'm not saying this to anybody personally here. It's just that I get annoyed with people because it's like, oh, let me go and do Superman, but let's make him emo. Let's make him not so good. Let's make him all this other stuff. It's like, this is fucking dumb, guys.
For The Boys,
but that's not Superman. That's just an alien. That's just an alien.
Yeah.
Right.
But for The Boys and everything else like that, that's fine for those characters. I just really enjoyed what Jupiter's Legacy had brought. Anyway, the show. I actually couldn't get into the comics, so I'll tell you something.
Me, the Invincible one, like that, I really like that one because they succeeded into selling you a character that is Superman and then takes a fucking weird twist.
Oh, it was Irredeemable.
Is it
Irredeemable and there's Incorruptible. Irredeemable, I think if that's the one where he's the Plutonian or something, and he's like Superman, but he was raised in a foster home, so he didn't have any of the family foundation. So basically, after years and years and years of trying to be the good guy, he just fucking snaps and just kills a bunch of people.
Are you talking The Boys or what?
No. This is
Invincible. Yeah.
Invincible.
Oh. No.
She's talking
Irredeemable.
about
Irredeemable.
The new series, Irredeemable. Yeah.
Irredeemable was the one where.
In Invincible, it's like imagine Superman, but at the end you realize that when he learns that he's a Kryptonian, he's been serving them to come dominate the world, and he's a fucking cold-blooded motherfucker.
Yeah,
but the entire series, though, for like almost a year, you think that he's a good guy. Almost, they're trying to sell you that, and then boom, you're like, oh fuck, he just killed the Justice League. It's
the dad. The dad is kind of like piece of shit, and it's kind of weird because in the comic it's kind of like it adjusts. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that he's a piece of shit, but he's serving his planet. Like when it's that bad good thing, like depending on whose side you're the monster to the opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, he has no problem beating the shit out of his kid, obviously, but
yeah.
How many scenes are we going to have with him just doing that?
Yeah, but it makes sense why it happens, though. That's what I like about it. It's not just a stupid version of what if Superman killed people?
Yeah, that was more of Irredeemable, where Irredeemable, like basically the guy just fucking snaps because he can't deal with it anymore. Like all the shit he gets, like he's not good enough. He's not all this other shit, and then what ends up happening is he just goes nuts and just ends up fucking up everybody.
Or like that piece of shit movie called Brightburn.
Oh, I heard about it.
Is it bad?
It is. It's fucking bad.
I never watched it.
It's like, imagine they try to turn Superman into a horror movie. You're like, okay, principle could be working, but they don't deliver. Like the guy has no idea what he's doing for a horror movie.
It's pretty much like, what if Superman landed in Smallville, but his parents corrupted him?
Isn't that Red Sun or kind of like Red Sun?
No, Red Sun is where
Red.
That's a Cameron.
No, it's
Red Sun Superman. Yeah.
It's worse than that. He's just a monster. He's just a little fucking son of a bitch monster that wants to kill and hurt things. That's all he is.
And the parents have just allowed it to happen because they was just afraid to try to discipline him.
An amoral, sadistic SOB, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that with let me think. With Red Sun, it's like, what if Superman crash landed in Russia and he was raised with a Russian set of morals, like with a communist Russian set of morals?
Right.
So that's all it was. Like, what if all these characters we knew were born and raised in Russia and like lived up to the communist ideals? So I don't think that was bad. I think that was an interesting thing.
They did something similar. I think it's an animated movie that DC did. It's a Monster and Something. It's an original movie that they did, and they reimagined Superman as in right before the rocket launches. It's instead of being Jor-El that puts this thing, it's Zod. So he becomes the son of Zod and is Superman's mom, and he's adopted by Mexican and raised in Mexico.
That's really kind of weird. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's a weird twist, and what they did with Batman is they technically Morbius. He's half bat, half human. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good concept. It's like an original story by Bruce Timm. It's Monster and something. I just forgot what it is, and they did their own version of Wonder Woman. Yeah.
See, the thing is, I don't have a problem with people doing different things. Just write them fucking good. Don't be lazy about it. That's what I have a fucking problem with a lot of this shit.
Yes, absolutely. And there was a period there that DC was doing Elseworlds books that were amazing. Just a lot of fun. Gotham by Gaslight is a prime example by Brian Augustine.
Yeah.
Just great stuff. I kept hoping to see Metropolis by Gaslight, to tell you the truth. Never did see it.
That would have been interesting. That would have been really interesting, because I wonder what kind of villain, because like in Gotham by Gaslight, he was supposed to go against Jack the Ripper, right? Because I think they went off, from what I remember reading of it. I read it a long time ago, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's like but I think Jack the Ripper, because in the real story of Jack the Ripper, they either thought he was a Jewish immigrant to he was an American by his speech patterns. You know, they kind of didn't know. And there was actually some graffiti that was kind of weird. That was stuff. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting because they basically took historical things and kind of made Batman, like that would make sense.
Yeah.
But Superman, I'm just kind of wondering if he was to do that, and if he was to go against Lex Luthor, maybe it would be Lex Luthor and I don't know, maybe by popular demand, Edison. Because now Edison has been kind of vilified because, you know, Westinghouse, that was like a development studio. Like looking back at Edison, people are like, oh, he's an inventor. I said, honestly, he had more of a development house than anything. I mean, he did invent some things, but he actually contracted a lot out of the design and actual patents out to other people where he took credit. So he was more of a design house. That's what Westinghouse is kind of that. So it'd be interesting that if Lex Luthor actually had employed Edison, because like people are like, Edison's an asshole, Tesla was the real genius and shit. I mean, I'm not on that train. Okay. I just, whatever you were raised with school, whatever you know of history, whatever you know of the facts of history now, it would be interesting to bring that element in, like Superman fighting against Luthor and Edison. And he's not a good guy. Like he has a design house. He's kind of an asshole, but he also works with Nikola Tesla. So that would be interesting at that time around the turn of the century. And then they would have to deal with robber barons and industrialization that way.
Yeah, I was thinking the robber baron.
Well,
yeah,
does it have to be a actual true historical figure? Because the way I was thinking is like Luthor teaming up with somebody like a sadistic Jekyll.
I mean,
we have to deal with a Mr. Hyde of that time.
I mean, we could have done that, or like maybe perhaps Luthor could have, since he's a scientist, he could have done Jekyll and Hyde type stuff. But I think what would fit Luthor better is that if he teamed up with Edison, and it would be the turn of the industrial century, and then that's Metropolis kind of building up from like a regular suburb type of farming thing up into something else. And maybe have like Superman have some investment, like his family came from Kansas. They have a family farm in Metropolis that's going to get bought out. Because like around that time, a lot of the boroughs were bought out. There were a lot of big families with big neighborhoods like the Bronx and all that. That was actually big family estates. And then they got shrunk into boroughs and neighborhoods. I mean, they didn't get shrunk. They got built over into boroughs and neighborhoods. So I just would think there's a lot of mining there for the industrial age for Metropolis in that sense. So I just think that would be kind of cool to do. But again, you know, as I said, with the current things that we know about Edison versus Nikola Tesla, that would be interesting to do because kind of when they vilify Edison, they kind of make him into a Lex Luthor. He fucked over people. He's an evil genius. Like Edison was smart. You know, he could make stuff. It's kind of like Steve Jobs. Like Steve Jobs knew how to program, but he knew a better programmer and he just did the design work or the overall.
He knew how to sell what was being made.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's the key thing about Edison. He knew exactly how to sell what was being made. It wasn't the fact that Tesla was wrong or right. It was the simple fact that Edison knew how to make money off of it and knew whose ears he had to get in, to have listen to make his side seem more profitable, because he made a lot of people money.
Yeah, he was a design house. Westinghouse is a design house. It's
Yeah, well, he also incidentally helped them create the electric chair. So
yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, by traveling, making a traveling tour and electrocuting animals.
He was trying to show,
well, it's
current.
And you think about it, it's like jobs with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Except it's like, here's the electric chair. Let me electrocute. Sorry, didn't mean to talk over you. I was just thinking it's kind of like Steve Jobs. When he was marketing the iPhone, like, here's the iPhone and shit, and here's the iPad, and here's the iThings. Instead, I have like this whole shit of electrical shit to burn people with, and the light things.
Right. We have passed the top of the hour, so we need to take a small break and pay a few bills and do a couple of ads. We'll be right back on the other side.
Let's do it.
More of the ZimmCast. Hang in there.
You're doing 12. Thanks a lot, old. Get off the stage, you rotten kids. We'll be back. Oh, you have a 12. We'll be back for more stuff right after this.
Did that say we were coming back? No, we were. One. Now on Sunday mornings, longtime independent comics creator Randy Zimmerman brings to you a podcast that talks about the lighter and more whimsical side of comics, the fun side of comics. That's right. Sunday Funnies is back Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on the Raging 2 YouTube channel and on certain Facebook pages. Check it out, won't you? Special guests, great talk, and a lot of fun as we work to put the fun back in funny books. See you there.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
Hello, comic book readers and collectors. My name is Randy Zimmerman, and I'm here to introduce you to the Fellowship of the Indies. The Fellowship is a group of creators that came together for a promising business deal that fell through. But don't worry, because what came from the deal were 9 spectacular comics from diverse genres and creators. All 9 books are printed and ready to go, along with metal bookmarks, retailer levels, and even month 2 books, which are being specially made for a short period. Just know that by pledging, you'll be getting 9 great comics, 32 pages of book, for the awesome price of $25 plus shipping. That's over 250 pages of incredible indie comics. So secure your copies today.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Back to the ZimmCast. Thanks for waiting.
No, I can't believe I'm kind of smiling here because you played the last part of the infamous the Icicle Pop Girls episode of the Gong Show, which led up to them getting canceled.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was early on.
Yeah, that was the start of why NBC was ready to take them off the air.
Well, they tried, but they survived for a few more seasons after that. So that's just as they started getting incredibly raunchy. Yeah.
The Gong Show?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't know that. I thought the Gong Show was actually pretty clean. But
oh, no. They were constantly butting heads with the censors, like you wouldn't believe. But they were at the point, Barris was so bored. out of his mind. That's why he was shy and he wore his hat down and all of this. They coerced him into being the MC on the show to start with. So he ended up, because he was the only one that understood how you were just supposed to be stupid and zany on the show. And that's what he did. He just come out and was a real clown, and then brought, Gene the dancing machine was the guy who used to clean up their floors. They caught him dancing behind the stage one day, and they said, dude, you got to do that on stage next time. Come on, we'll play something for you.
He was like the early version of Sandman Sims before Showtime at the Apollo. Was really very big.
There's just some awesome comedy bits in the Gong Show that nobody gives those folks credit for.
The Unknown Comic.
Unknown Comic was great. Yeah.
What was that guy that would drag you out from nighttime at the Showtime at the Apollo if you sucked that bad?
That was Sam and Sims.
Yeah, like didn't he? Sam and Sims. Oh yeah, because he would get like the hook and just hook you off.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that whole trope came from, isn't it? With the big hook. Mm-hmm. That in vaudeville, they used to do that on some of the talent nights. They'd grab you and pull you off. That's really where the Gong Show came from in the first place. Just instead of a big hook, they had a gong.
So why did they? What was special about him that they wanted to convince him to be the host of the Gong Show?
Well,
the first host was bad. He was like,
there is a test reel.
Mm-hmm.
There is a test reel with the host out there. The other host, it's somebody with relatively big MC type character, and he just could. Oh no, I take that back. The guy who played Gary Owens was the first MC for that, the voice of Space Ghost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the guy who would do the radio announcing on Laughing, hello, ladies and gentlemen, live, that kind of thing. And he was the first host for the pilot, and they ditched him and brought Chuck in because Chuck was the only one who understood what you were supposed to do when you were on the show. You were supposed to be stupid. You were supposed to be zany. Yeah. You were bringing out acts. You were hoping to get gonged, and you had guests on there that could take it. J.P. Morgan was raunchy. They brought Phyllis Diller in, who was raunchy. All of these nightclub comedian performers during the day. Yet, that's why they were.
Afternoon.
That's why the show was so popular, was because it skirted that edge so hard that most of the time it just came off as just stupid, funny, just hilarious stuff.
It was all the acts that you would see on like variety shows that would never make it anywhere else. It was just that hilarious.
They snuck a good one in every once in a while. There's even an act on there when Barack Obama was a little kid. He was doing as a magician's assistant. He was on the Gong Show. That's something they never mentioned when he was running, or was it on presidential.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, used to be on the Gong Show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hear he's a pretty funny guy, so that would make sense.
He's a very tragic character. There's a great documentary on YouTube on him, and if you ever get to read his book is really cool because it's pretty much an autobiography, but he inserts and insists that he was actually an assassin for the CIA. And he went to different places at different times and performed different jobs while he was creating game shows for ABC.
Not just creating game shows. He was actually an escort for those who won dates on the dating game. And that was the reason why he was doing all the traveling while he was doing the escort stuff. He was actually doing the assassin.
Yeah, the oddball places that they'd send the couples on the dating game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the staff was like that as well. All of the staff ended up being an escort at one point or another, and they all traveled the world because of that dating game. So it's like I said, it's a great documentary.
A big assassin company or something.
But he come up. Everything that he did was just accidental timing. His whole production company took off because of the Newlywed and the dating game.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, he
did the Gong Show.
Trouble after the Gong Show and the raunchiness because you had Three's a Crowd.
Well, nobody took him totally seriously after that
because
he emceed the Gong Show. Everybody saw him as the goofy, zany Chuck Barris instead of the guy that had made networks millions of dollars creating game shows.
Like retooling the treasure hunt.
Yeah,
that was one of his.
The $1.98 beauty pageant.
Yep.
Yeah. Just some crazy classic stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's a shame Game Show Network doesn't keep showing those gong shows. I wish they would.
How come they don't?
They probably ran out on the license, and they started doing their own original programming, which is a lot cheaper, probably cheaper to manufacture.
They moved them over to the subsidiary. I think it was like Buzzer or something like that, because they still show like the new gang over there.
I think Buzzer's a secondary channel for your Plutos and Plex and Tubi, that kind of thing. They would carry those channels. But I didn't know about Pluto until a couple of years ago. That was pretty wild. So yeah, every type of oddball channel you ever want to see is over on there. They've got a channel over there that shows nothing but Addams Family 24 hours a day.
Wow.
How do they
Three's
do
Company. If you're into that kind of thing, it's there. Yeah, every just oddball series. They have a Doctor Who channel on Pluto that I love. I don't watch it often enough, but they cover everything from Hartnell to McCoy.
Oh, that's in the back, by the way.
Pardon?
Luke is in the
Luke.
back.
Sorry, Luke.
Yep.
Luke.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, nothing much. Luke, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Luke Stone. I'm the writer and artist behind a book called Hybrids: The Sons of Gods. It's actually crowdfunding right now on Indiegogo. Feel free to go over to LukeStoneStudios.com. Check out that campaign today. It's linked right up at the top. There you go. That's me. That's what I do.
Yeah, sorry I didn't bring you in sooner.
That's all right. I was just chilling in the back listening to what you guys. The Gong Show was great.
Yeah,
the Gong Show was a great bit of TV.
What a bit of education for a young kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Coming home, why are they licking that popsicle like that, and why are they suddenly escorted off the stage? You never know. Anyway,
it's like
I don't know.
They show all sorts of shit now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like that.
Well, all of the stuff they did now is probably pretty tame. Yeah.
Yeah.
But back then, you had censors just running rampant on that shit. Just crazy.
Now we openly groom children. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Now we have Facebook censors that are weird. Like one of my friends had a picture of the Hadron Collider, and for some reason they said, "We're taking this off." And she's like, "What? That was 6 years ago." They said, "Yes, it's a obscene picture." I said, "Well, I guess it kind of looks like a butthole, but you really have to search for that."
Yeah.
Like literally, she says, "Okay." You know, so we took your post down. It's like, this was 6 years ago. It was about the Hadron Collider.
Yeah. But then somebody will post boobs, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like flat out boobs, and they're like, hey, that's okay. But your picture kind of looks like a butthole.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They'll stay up there until somebody complains. That's how they, or if the algorithms catch it. There's 2 round circles with 2 other round circles inside of them. That must be boobs.
Yeah. But your picture that you posted 6 years ago kind of looks like a butthole. So. We're going to take that down.
Welcome to the world of AI,
Facebook.
I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
crazy
Facebook.
algorithms. I haven't heard back from Stone. See?
No, he's
he
said something in a private chat. His he had something to do with his sister and some family legal stuff.
Yeah.
I was looking. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's right above Chris.
Yeah.
In a private chat.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, my friend's got a. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. Well, we still have that call out for whoever wants to come in. So, but in the meantime, we're going to go looking at a few campaigns since it's after the start of the hour. Whoops! I just cut myself out. No, I didn't. There I am.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right. That's what I get for hitting a link. You're gonna bring in
how's everybody doing tonight?
Oratora. Here we are.
It's nice to see Joe D. McPhee and Christy Shin. Christy, you're killing it these days, you know?
Oh, thank you.
You are an impressive woman, I'm telling you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. It's just essentially, you love something that much. You just got to keep doing it. You got to keep pushing it. And plus, what kind of motivates me is also I got elected into CAPS Comic Art Professional Society. So I got to.
Oh, good. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you're just so darn likable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
Even though
that helps.
All the time.
That helps. You got a real likable personality. You're getting a lot of success, and you deserve every bit of it.
Thank you.
Way to go. Way to go.
Thank you.
You're inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just kind of like, wow, Luke, thank you. It's awesome. It's like, when you work and you put out your stuff, it's like you do expect on a certain level some sort of satisfaction. Like, come on, put a like work, like
yeah,
to get something back, and you put out a lot of good. And I'm not trying to edify myself or anything like that, but when you work hard, you put out good work, you're conscientious about the shit that you do and say.
Yes.
At least I would think so. I don't know. Sometimes people would argue different.
Most of us are, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but it's just like to hear that reflected back in the way that, people do. It's like, whoa, really like that much? Awesome.
Yeah. I'm telling you, really impressed, especially, after, my nap, being out for so long and coming back and just seeing what you had accomplished. It's instead of little snapshots, along your journey, it was like this, you can see this big progress, like this kind of, before and after almost.
Yeah.
And I was just really impressive. It's really inspiring to see you work so hard on something and be rewarded for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you're not proud of you, I'm proud of you. So, no, for whatever that's worth, I don't know.
Well,
it's not much of a thing, but
it means a lot. I appreciate it. I like it. I'm glad that people see that, and I'm happy when they reflect it back to me. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking at your Kickstarter campaign, Demon Bitch. You all suck.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's basically when I was stuck for the past 2 years. Well, actually, past 2 years in my home with COVID. Now, I did not have COVID. I'm not saying that I ever had COVID, but having that lovely experience where we're all quarantined. We went through the news cycles and how everybody got angry about this and that, the other thing. I'm not taking a side. It was just, looking back, it was pretty fucking ludicrous. Like how everybody just reacted to fucking everything. And that was my commentary in this cartoon, a comic book. And as I drew the cartoon strips, it was as if I was observing the news cycle. Because when you think about, we were stuck at home, we're not encouraged to go out, depending on which state we were in. And, all we could do is look at our computers or TV and just see out to the world. We really couldn't interact with anybody. So it's like 2 years of semi-isolation. And we're just both self-imposed and both imposed. And it was just seeing how people reacted to everything from, George Floyd to like all these other things, like to COVID, to death, to everything. And it was also from my standpoint, because the year prior to that, I had a pancreatic tumor that was 6 inches. So luckily it didn't turn out to be cancerous. I literally got called in to play Russian roulette twice, and I didn't even get an invite. And somehow I won both times. Don't ask me how it happened, but
been there.
Yeah, but it was definitely an experience. So I saw COVID through my eyes about how things were, and how just in hindsight, silly how some people acted, like how people were screaming at each other and shit and acting in hindsight ridiculous and really
foolish.
Pretty regrettable. And but there were other people that were like sitting there and they were just pounding away at like their shit. Like for me, that's what I did. I did 2 Kickstarters because literally there was nothing else to do. So I said, okay, I'm just going to go to 2 Kickstarters. We're going to do, and I was just relentless on being online to at least do some cons. And when we finally opened up with cons, that was the good thing. And it's weird how 2 years passed. It's like, I can't even think how that registered, because I didn't do my regular things. I didn't. So it was just weird how things built up to that point. So this is a comic book where it documented the last 2 years of my life and how I observe things. And on top of that, we're developing a computer game for the first level to develop, to beta test of Demon Bitch. And basically she wakes up and she needs attention, like hardcore attention. And you have to give her attention or she shrivels up and dies.
I love that. That's
Yeah. So it's just like right now, I mean, it's been a slow week because I know they'd say, oh, you're going to go and experience the slow week. But I'd really like to, before the end of this, hit 5,000 because we've been trailing at 4961 for a while.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. The last week will probably pick up. I think you'll at least hit 5,000. Have you looked on Backer Tracker by chance to see where I think you're trending?
I look at Kick Track, and I looked at my desktop. So it's like I kind of had a cut, like I had a pledge cut, but that's not too bad. I've had people like
it happens. It's this darn economy.
Yeah. But I mean, in this one, it just basically it kicked it back up, so it's a little over. But that 49.61 is bugging the living shit out of me.
Yeah, I think you'll get there. There's always just a little plateau in the middle. I mean, it happens on no matter what platform you use.
Yeah,
you run into it, but I think you'll get there. I haven't backed yet, so you're going to at least get a little bit extra out of me. So,
thank you, Luke. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I enjoy your art. It's good stuff, and this is funny because it's what you're saying is totally relatable. With this back and forth. I'm an unashamed libertarian. This kind of like middle. I'm the guy that runs up and down the aisle, flipping both sides off. I just don't like politics and all that kind of stuff. And I think use your brain, decide what you want to, and all that. I was sitting in a room with someone, and just as much as you get some crazy people on one side, you get crazy people on the other. And this guy was like, "Man, they just need to go around and give everyone the vaccine. If they refuse, they just need to shoot them." I was like, "What?" I said, "What did you say?" I was like,
"Oh yeah."
Did you seriously just say that? And I'm like, it shocked me that it's like someone thinks that way, but you get the exact opposite. It's like, well, they want to try to give me the vaccine. I'll just shoot them. Shut up about shooting people. This is stupid. You guys are sounding like a bunch of idiots. But yeah, so I totally relate. And so I'm looking forward to this story. This sounds great.
Oh yeah. It's like just a bunch of comics. Like it just went from like the beginning of COVID to the election to everyday bullshit and just stupid things like, what I really hated and I found very, very offensive to me. And this was around the George Floyd protests and everything. And it's not what you think it is. It was basically people vying for attention to show how much they wanted to mourn him. This is what I mean. Like they actually caught influencers, a lot of them in LA. Okay. That's why I kind of have a bone to pick with this. Holding up signs all dressed up like, oh, George Floyd. It's like, you don't give a fuck about him. Go away. Like that type of professional mourning. It's like, oh, let's just make a sing to look appropriate. Not like, okay, we're really genuinely upset with what happened. That's what pissed me off about it, because it's like people posing like they cared. It's like, if you don't care, just fuck you, and I'm not here to debate one way or the aisle. Just the only disgusting thing that I found out is that people were that bored or that much looking for attention and clout that they just pretended to follow a thing. They really didn't give a fuck about the thing. And then they just trashed it to hell to what it was supposed to be. That was my problem. And then they would dress up. Like literally they caught people that were influencers wearing their makeup, wearing their fancy outfits, and they're holding like, oh, justice for Floyd. It's like, you don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah,
what
you don't care.
Yeah. I mean, Joe's like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, that was offensive to me. Stuff like that happening. And it's like, even through COVID, like even if you had the both sides, you had people going like, well, like COVID, blah, 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 blah. Let's look and sound appropriate. It's like, you don't give a fuck either way, because when I would meet these people face to face, it's like, well, yeah, I don't really care. And I'm like I didn't like when you said somebody about shooting people, like they were talking about shooting people. I literally saw people saying we should put the unvaccinated in camps.
Yeah. Some ridiculous things people are saying.
Okay. That's really not cool. And people get into screaming fights. And after a while, even though they weren't screaming at me because I didn't find it worth it getting into arguments with people, I just blocked some of them. It's like, I'm sorry, you said that we should put people in camps. I really can't get back from that. That's hard for me to unpack. That's really bad, So
where can you still look at somebody and call them a Nazi at this point?
Right.
I don't know, but it was just some shit, like just some of the shit people would say. It's like, I don't know if they go back and scrub their Facebook or social media now. Like literally, like one guy, when one dude like died, he was calling him very fucking racist names. And I'm like, what the hell? Like on his Instagram. And here he is going like, I'm not racist and shit and everything. And, I support every cause. But then they were calling this guy the most racist of shit. It's like, you don't have license to do that at all, like ever.
Yeah, it's like It's like, we're not buying the whole "I'm not racist" right after you said some racist crap. That's not how things work.
It was bad, and it was just like I was just appalled. Like, it was kind of like, I forgot the donkey's name in Animal Farm. You know how he was kind of the observer of how the animals like kind of fucking declined and sold themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the pigs and the humans. Like, first it was the pigs versus the humans. Now the pigs became the humans and they colluded with each other. Mm-hmm. I felt like that donkey, like, what the fuck, like, because it's more in the book. It's more of a disillusionment when you read Animal Farm. Like, I remember my mom.
It made you feel sorry for Boxer the horse.
Yeah, Boxer was just like the useful fucking idiot when you look at it in the background. Like, oh man, because it's like, I remember watching that cartoon as a kid. My mom rented it. It was an animation. Looking back, it kind of horrified. Oh wow, somebody back. Oh my god, that's so awesome! Thank you for getting me over. Let me see.
Yay, over 5,000. I said it wrong. I don't have a scouter.
Great.
I can't say it's over 5,000.
Project 13. Thank you, Project 13. If you are on here, read
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Is it Luke?
Yeah, I back under Project 13. That's
thank
me.
You. I know you were.
The book looks great. I can't wait. And physical books are better than digital all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Let me. I feel bad. I know you're a pastor. I don't want to write like a really offensive. Thank you.
Come on. Be you. Be you. I know what I'm. I know.
Be you.
I followed your career. I know what I'm getting.
Okay, I'm gonna write this really quick right now. You can read it out loud here. But yeah, it's just but it's just like the whole thing. It's like I watched that as a kid, and then my mom later on we studied Animal Farm in junior high. I'm kind of rambling up. Studied Animal Farm in junior high. And then my mom smiled at me and said, "So, Christy, do you feel like you one up those kids because you watched that when you were little?" And I was like, "You made me watch that when I was little." Because like I was a little girl, I liked horses and My Little Pony, and she made me watch that shit. Hey, they're gonna run
right next to Watership Down, huh?
Actually, I didn't watch Watership Down until way later when I was an adult, and it was funny when I was an adult because it was like I couldn't believe they made you fucking watch that shit. And like it was made in '78. I said, God damn, I wish I watched it as a kid. Like especially like when one of the dogs tore up one of the rabbits, and you're like, God damn. I think it was the Ifrafra Ausla. Like he ripped up one of like the dog just like shook it and put through. And the animation was just actually kind of funny because it wasn't the best animation. And then they came out with a computer generated one of Watership Down. And I think they tried to keep to the book, but it really didn't have the same effect. I don't think the animation was as good. But I really do think that Watership Down's a good book. I read it when I was 10. So it was like, yeah, I read a lot of fucked up books when I was 10. So it's like when people say, that's really cruel that funny, ouch, I have PTSD from that shit. You probably
yeah. We know a lot now. It makes sense.
Yeah, and like
that explains things.
Right. It makes me wonder if the Huxley A Brave New World is going to get remade. Like that's the rumor that it's going to get remade in comic book form and it's going to be more modernized. I'm like, oh, why are they going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, NBC just did that about 10, 20 years ago, didn't they? Brave New World by Huxley.
They did. They kind of did iterations of it. It was weird. They were kind of like doing. They did The Island, which was kind of not quite the Brave New World, and I think they did do a movie of the Brave New World I
think they did a miniseries on it not too long. It might have been a while ago.
You know what actually kind of reminds me of a Brave New World in a weird way is Fahrenheit 451. But it's like you live on the island. It's kind of weird that way. Mm-hmm. It's like they're two different stories by two different writers. I don't think they wrote it at the same time. Like I think Bradbury wrote Fahrenheit 451 in the 60s, whereas Aldous Huxley wrote I
think it was 40s.
Long before, yeah.
It's like 40s or something like that because it was still dealing with the Henry Ford assembly line, dealing with the Model Ts.
So instead of thank God, they said thank Ford because it was like the whole mechanization and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why people argue now, like before they would have this thing of the educational system, it was more factory driven because of the factory workers instead of actually a more Montessori type of school system where you had all the grades shoved in together and everything. So I think it's just basically demographics and just probably logistics now as a result of that. But going back, I just thought it was kind of funny. So the Brave New World, but it kind of reminded me like Fahrenheit 451 is like somebody living in there and questioning their existence, whereas an outsider comes in the Brave New World that's never experienced any of the social programming that they ever had, or taking the drugs or whatever. So it's kind of interesting that way. But yeah, I mean, now I'm thinking that whole Metropolis idea, like Luthor partnering up with Thomas Edison and all that. So that's going to be interesting. Because when you really look at Lex Luthor, he's kind of like Thomas Edison. Mm-hmm. He's an evil inventor. He's an evil genius. He made LexCorp.
There's a 9-episode series on Peacock, Brave New World.
Oh,
off of the book. Yeah. Alden, Aaron Reich, Jessica Brown Findlay, Harry Lloyd were the stars on it. The creators were Grant Morrison, Brian Taylor, and David Weiner.
That might be a must-watch.
Created for television by David Weiner. It's in a utopia whose perfection hinges upon control over monogamy and privacy. Members of a collective begin to question the rules, putting their regimented society on a collision course with forbidden love and revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually not that nice. Like when you read the book, it's actually kind of fucked up at the end.
Oh, the book was, but that was written around the same time as 1984, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, which is also bleak and sad and terrible too. Like, I mean,
sadly we're living in 1984.
You have to admit, the person who wrote Animal Farm also came up with 1984, so he had a lot of things to say.
But Animal Farm was really a statement against communism.
Well, it was also two different kinds of communism. You had the Trotskyist communism and the Stalinist communism, and that's what they fought against each other. And it was just kind of interesting how that happened. Like the Trotskyist, I guess, was more of the sufficient one, where the Stalinist was more of the totalitarian one. It probably both would have ended up the same way, I think, eventually. Just one was kind of a slower path to the other one, because you have to ask who's in charge. And it's weird because it's like I went to Hungary and the Eastern Bloc, or what was formerly the Eastern Bloc in Eastern Europe, and you got to see. It's weird because like I had a guide who was Romanian, but he called it the communist times and shit. So it was like the dollar store was not the dollar stores that we know now. It was actually, you could buy shit with American dollars. That's what they showed the tourists. So that he would bargain with the American tourists. He'd say, could you get me this, like a fucking VCR and shit? I'll give you the money for it. Oh, okay. And he'd get it and he'd bootleg shit. And he would actually pay for meat and other things for fucking American movies. It's amazing. So it's like, when he would talk about that, that was interesting. And I saw the Berlin Wall. And it was weird because like seeing it in person versus, because like you realize Europe is not like nice straight streets and curves like a lot of America is. It's like very crooked and weird and strange because, this is thousands and hundreds and thousands of years of like horse-drawn carts evolving into automobiles and everything.
Yes, cart paths.
Yeah. Like,
where here in the States, we were able to make our own roads.
Yeah, like the most that would be most European is East Coast because that's where they settled first. That's when you're going to see the evolution. But for the most part, if you go more out west, it's going to be more modernized.
Or you had wackadoo architects like the ones that designed Washington, D.C.
Well, there's that because it was in the 1700s. But here's another thing, too. When I went to, I had this great thing. Like when I went to Vienna with a Ringstrasse, that was the weirdest fucking thing I ever had. And then seeing the graffiti there, they were like tagging fucking buildings that were 300 years old. It's like fucking nothing. But here it's like 200 to 300. You ever touch that fucking building, you're going to die kind of thing. But over in Europe, it's like, we tagged a fucking building. It's like over 200 to 300 years old. And this is what I realized too. In Europe, if you go to a city that looks super modern, like America, chances are it was fucked up during the war because they bombed the living shit out of it. So Berlin looks super modern. You know why? Because they bombed the shit out of it. Warsaw, same thing. And the thing is that a lot of the buildings that look old, they were recreated from paintings because a lot of it was bombed to shit. There's like maybe one section in Warsaw, like in The Pianist, that they could film that was old school Warsaw, and they showed it, and it's like literally this small strip of street. Everything else is recreated or like I went to Warsaw and they showed some of the Soviet architecture. Like they called it the wedding cake because it was all Korean shit. That's what they were saying. And I was walking around. I said to my mom, "Oh, Mom, this looks like Campbell, California." And she just looked at me like, "What?" Because like it was all bomb to shit. It was like, but if you go to places like the Czech Republic and Prague, that was barely touched. So that's all real, all the real old stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I learned. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm still laughing at Nita saying, "Ouch, I have PTSD from that shit." Why do you think I'm able to send pop shit to his inbox that's so fucked up all the time? All right.
Now we have Tales from the Natverse, 80-page anthology. Sim, you've been quiet. Tell us all about it.
All right, now it's an 80-plus page. Looking to unlock the extra story, making it a 96-plus page book, and we're really close, but less than $2,000 away.
Cool.
So yeah, it's I only have 20 pages done. Sorry, that's what I'm working on right now. I have 20 pages left to do on one story called Planet 69. And I'm on. I got 20 pages to finish, and I'm on it. So, please go check it out. Sorry.
No, it's all right, dude.
We're 30 backers away from unlocking the fridge magnet, and really close to unlocking that extra story. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool.
That's cool.
Right, I'm typing.
What's that Hydra-esque thing?
It's one of the that's the creature. That's a creature that crashed on Planet 69, and that's what Nat is called to deal with. It's called an octolopod.
So where did the character Nat come from? Like, what inspired you to make the character Nat the Merc?
I grew up liking a lot of sci-fi movies and all those anime by Masamune and all that stuff, like that cyberpunk, space fantasy years and stuff like that. Heavy Metal Magazine 2080 and all those stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I was in college and I was studying in 3D animation, and I was trying to come up with something that a concept that I could bring all of that back, like Heavy Metal the movie type of thing, and have it like a serial type of thing. And that's how I came up with Nat. That's trying to put everything I love from all those type of like different little IPs that I love throughout the world. So like with Lowani, there's everything linked to cyberpunk. So Armitage, Ghost in the Shell, Bubblegum Crisis, all of that thing, all into one. Then you have Rose, that's like the space pirate. So she has all of that type of little baggage of that aspect, a bit more Warhammer 40K-ish more, and that's why she's more of a cyborg. Mm-hmm. And then you have Nat, that's him. He's a technomancer, and he's a human hybrid. He's the only one with human DNA from our planet there in that verse. And he doesn't know much about himself, and you will discover as we go with the story. And the entire principle of Tales from the Natverse, it's an anthology series in the aspect of like, if you back in the days you used to be able to buy like a supersized book type of thing where you would have 5 floppies, like 2 Superman, 1 Batman or something like that, 1 Justice League, and that's what I'm trying to apply here. It's each story are their own little IPs living in the universe of Nat. That's why it's called Tales from the Natverse. So the main character of that verse, it's Nat, but you also have Lowani. That's her own IP and her own character, and she has her own little spin-offs. Like right now, I'm working on a story where it's Lowani and Rose, and it's called Daddy Issues. And just the title tells you everything that's going to be happening in there. They deal with all type of daddy issues.
That's funny because it's like that could actually come from a very long list of comedic things, like from really perverse to like really like as a parody of daddy issues.
And just telling you the basic of like the relationship between Rose and Lowani. Rose was dying from cancer. Her dad was trying to save her life by creating a synthetic body for her. He got murdered, body got sold, she got left for dead after being, mistreated by pirates. And the body became sentient. So they're discovering themselves, they're becoming sisters and discovering the history of their father and all type of other daddy issues. So yeah, you're right. Like we're dealing with everything from real drama to funny to, sitcom type of thing where it's going to be a pun about daddy issues. But another thing that I used to like a lot. I don't know if you know that series. I'm a huge Adam Warren fan, and I used to love his Dirty Pair series.
Oh yeah, the fucking thing that was like the fucking staple for my ass right there. Dirty Pair.
Adam Warren's Dirty Pair. Yeah.
After a while, like I was wondering how the fuck that guy drew as much shit as he did, because I was like, God damn, I would have been like so impatient. My sister joked about it. She's not into comics, but she would read a lot of the comics because she was my younger sister. And she was like, dude, if I had to draw like him, I'd be so fucking impatient. Like I just like scribble all over because I was just like, fuck,
I even have his Empowered series, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get into Empowered, but I got more into Dirty Pair. It was weird. I like Dirty Pair better than Empowered.
Empowered's a parody. Like I'm not that much into it, but it's a fun read. Like it's him being a geek and just making jokes of everything. Like it's a parody. Dirty Pair was just him doing anime sci-fi. Like it was a mix of Western and Eastern, and it was great. Like I went and I freaking rebought the trade paperbacks, the series and stuff like that on eBay. I love that series.
Yeah, right now we're looking at Hybrids, the Killing Field, parts 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Luke, tell us about that.
Sorry
to interrupt your conversation.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, my first go back into comics after a little hiatus. I'm continuing the story where our heroes find out that the Hybrid Engineering Corporation has some pretty deep and nefarious intentions that run much deeper than what they originally thought was human trafficking. There's a major drug ring that stems from their human trafficking that they do. It's kind of a side note in the process. And so right now our heroes are trying their best to put an end to the bad guys. But little do they know the Game Master is still in control, and he has been pulling the strings the entire time. And so he has pulled them all together in this deadly chess match that's ending on the killing field. And so this is part 3 of 4. It leads us now towards the kind of the final chapter of Act 2 of the overarching story that I'm trying to tell. And it's got a lot of heart, a lot of character development in it, a lot of plot-driven action. So there's a lot of action, but it's all important. It's not just whacks and thwacks and booms and bangs. There's some intent to it. And so you can actually see the first 8 pages on the campaign right now, and see kind of where we're going. The art, I think, is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. Patrick, what's that?
The art looks really good. It looks like kind of like an allegory of Archangel Michael and some of the angels or something.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it worked really hard to develop my own kind of style ability. This is the first cover that we have available for it. I did that. It features a new character that comes to life, quite literally, in this new arc. And then that's a cover by the very talented Nito Diaz, who just got a job for Marvel. So this might be the last time I can afford any of his work on my books. But he's been doing some work for Marvel. We are less than $200 away from our first stretch goal, where we will have a chibi patch, iron-on patch, of Bone, one of the characters in the book, for everybody to have for free. We'll make sure every backer gets one of those. And we have some cool things. We got metal prints that we're doing this go-around. We have an option for metal cover. And there's a few mini busts that I'm doing. We print those off 3D printed, and I hand finish those, so they're a little slower. They're very limited. The first 50 backers, actually, physical backer, got that free sticker, that chibi. So that's out for everyone. If we can hit a stretch goal, we probably won't increase that number. Everyone's got those stickers. So that's the campaign in a nutshell. We've got multiple covers for this one again. We've got catch-up tiers where you can get issues 1 through 3 of the Killing Field, which comes up as legacy issues 6, 7, and 8. But you can also get we've got a couple copies of the trade paperback still available. So if you want to catch up on the first 5 issues, you can. Plus, we have available remastered issue number 1 and remastered issue number 2. Because when I signed up with Randy in the very, in the debacle, yeah, that very interesting situation that we had to endure. When I decided to remaster everything before it got the Arrow logo put on the cover. And so the first issue, about 80% of the work has been redone. The second issue, probably about 60%. And the third, each issue subsequently has less work done to it because I got better.
We should just label that the Liberty Distribution debacle.
Yeah, the LDD.
LDD.
Yeah, the LDD. So I like to call it. But yeah, so that's the campaign. If you're not interested in things like Chris Claremont era X-Men or Ancient Aliens and conspiracy theories and kind of weird stuff like that, if you're not interested in those things at all, you hate those things, you hate it all, then you can at least buy me a cup of coffee. There is a tier where you can buy Luke a cup of Joe. You can fuel the creativity, or like I like to say, feed my beautiful mind babies.
Mind babies.
Yeah, some people don't think that's very funny, but I think it's funny. So
I think it's
say it anyway.
Great.
Yeah. See, that's what we got going there. So thanks for popping that up there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for showing it off. Then we want to remind folks also about the Long Shots and the Fellowship of the Indies campaigns, the Long Shot campaign over on Indiegogo right now. 7 publishers, 9 books, one big deal. The first issue of Luke Stone's Hybrids, My Hero Bot Zero, God's Hand by Anthony and Marcus, Only Death Can Save Us by the great Russ Leach, Oswald Chronicles by J.D. Calderon, the Revolt book, which is a great anthology title, Shield of the Interceptor by J.D. Rosario and Russ Leach again, Tall Tales by J.D. Calderon and Daphne Lage, and the Wellkeeper by D. Fish. So yeah, 7 publishers, 9 great books, one big deal. You can get all 9 books. All of them are 32 pages, beautifully printed books for only $25 plus shipping. On the Long Shots on Indiegogo or the Fellowship of the Indies over on Kickstarter. Please go over there today and buy in if you can. You will not regret it. All of those 9 books are great exposures to some of the finest alternative and independent comics around, and they're all IPs that aren't going away. Just because the deal didn't go through, like you just saw with Luke Stone's Hybrids, these properties are going to continue on strong and on other campaigns or wherever great comics are sold or found. So go over there and back us if you can. Long Shots on Indiegogo, Fellowship of the Indies over on Kickstarter. And I want to thank everybody for listening in for the ZimmCast for the 20th of April, 2022. It's been a great show. And Sim, tell folks where folks can find you.
You can find me on any social media under Sim Inkslayer on YouTube and everywhere. I do animation on my channel, and I'm doing a giveaway right now of something we discussed before. When I reach 1,000 subs and get monetized, I'm giving away an X-Men Omnibus #1 by Claremont, Jim Lee, Silvestri, Liefeld, and all those nice people. I'm giving that away to one lucky little sub. And at 500, just to give you an in-betweener,
that's awesome.
I'm giving away a sketch cover of Heavy Metal number 300 anniversary issue with a sketch of Nan on it, but that's fast 500. That's just in between to give you an incentive because I am right now at 374, so we had a little long way to go, so a little something in between the way.
All right, Joe, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, if you follow everything on YouTube and everything, I will be, and hopefully Nita will forgive me for this here. I will be on Comic Book Spectrum tomorrow. I'm going to be reviewing a couple of comic books. And then on Saturday for my show from the Desolate Small Press Publisher, Saturday evenings at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But outside of that, you got the link right there for the link tree, which is right there on my name. You can catch all my social media links there, including where you can watch me on my show and a couple other places.
Sweet. And don't be afraid to promote Comic Book Spectrum on our show. Rising Tide.
Never be afraid. Yeah,
it's a great channel. Yeah, we love them very much. Luke, tell folks how they can find you.
Oh, you can head on over to my website at lukestonestudios.com. You can find all the important links there: YouTube, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Sign up for my mailing list, get more updates. You can also find a couple of links to the campaigns I'm a part of up there. I think I've updated it recently. If not, just shoot me a message and say, Luke, fix it, and I will. So, but yeah, lukestonestudios.com. That's simple.
Sweet. Christy, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, you can find me on my link tree at Horror Tour Studios. So you can link tr.ee/Horror Tour Studios. The Kickstarter will be on there, as well as my apparel, my art and prints that you can get buy from me signed personally. My main website with my CV, and also my Patreon, and how to contact me. But yeah, primarily my Kickstarter. That's one of my priorities right now. So just get that going. I'm kind of feeling like P.T. Barnum now. So there you go.
Sometimes that's what you have to do.
P.T. Barnum.
Oh yeah, I like the Greatest. I like the soundtrack to the
Love
Greatest
that.
Showman.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good
good.
film. Yeah. And again, that's Demon Bitch. You all suck over on Kickstarter right now. Go over there.
I just know you're going to say things in that book I wish I could get by saying in real life.
Oh,
I just know it. I just know it.
Is your filter back then? Is that what you're saying?
A little bit. We've worked really hard to get some of or most of the filter back, but it's not all the way back yet, guys.
I hear you.
Because of the inactivity that you experienced, or is it just because of the result of what you went through?
A little bit of both. We've determined that it come down to, while I was trached, I wasn't allowed to say anything, or I couldn't say anything. My doctors and nurses kept telling me, well, just pretend like you're saying it, like use the words, let the air come out, like that way your mouth remembers how to say these things. Well, I got really used to people would come in and do and say things, and I would have these comments, and I'm like, man, if they could hear this stuff, this is some funny stuff right here. Good thing they can't hear what I'm thinking. Well, unfortunately, people can now hear what I'm thinking, because I will accidentally talk out loud, or I feel like I'm thinking it inside of my head, not coming out. Inside thoughts are creeping their way out, so it's an occupational hazard for sure. It definitely is. Especially in your line of work. Yeah.
Anyway, tell folks how they can find you.
As always, you can check out my link tree at linktree.com/C Michael Lanning for all the fun links of all the fun social media stuff we do. And of course, join us right here on the Raging Network next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for Dispatches from Outside the Box, where we're going to be talking like comic strips, naked comics. So check that out.
And everybody out there listening, I have a couple of favors that I need to ask you. And the first one is, if you haven't subscribed already to the Raging 2 Network, please go over there and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications. There's a great lineup of shows, which I have a handy-dandy card for.
Oh, I've got one tomorrow morning.
Yes, you do. Yeah. And you should have...
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it?
Wednesday. Yep.
Yikey.
And this isn't even all of the shows that we have to offer. Dispatches, like C. Michael said. Earlier today, there was a art live stream with Daphne as she tried to draw and talk at the same time. Sometimes it gets to be a very fun and entertaining challenge. So make sure you tune over there or tune back here, I should say, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. we'll have a ZimmCast. Nerd Bacon is on every Thursday at 9 a.m. in the morning, so that we can get more of a worldwide cast if we need to. And
it is safe for work
podcast. Yeah, very different from this show where you can fucking swear and do whatever you have to.
Exactly.
That's how you need to.
There it is.
Then Sunday Funnies, also a more friendly and upswing series of a lot of guys getting together and girls, a lot of people getting together talking about their love. And that's comics, the passion that we have for this industry and this art form. Sunday mornings, 9 a.m., Sunday Funnies. We try to put the fun back in funny books and talk about the more lighthearted and just the stuff that we love and we love to read. J.D. Calderon, on the other hand, does Talking Comics on a Sunday when he can chase off the porn bots. We all talk about the industry on his channel, too. Sundays at 7:30 at night. Then don't forget Sketchy Saturdays as well. And I believe that's on at 10 a.m. If I'm not mistaken.
10 a.m. Eastern, yeah.
10 a.m. Eastern time as Mike Jimmy and Marv draw and talk at the same time.
They're going to have an interesting show this week because I think it's Rich Peralta and Daphne Lage.
Yeah, Daphne's going to be on this week, yes.
It's
sweet. Great. And we should have Daphne starting back up on Sunday Funnies here and in the next month, I believe. she's going to start back up on that program as well. And if you haven't looked at the Raging 2 broadcast network, there is a set of classic Sunday funnies over there with some great interviews that we've done with people in the past. The first one was with Ralph Griffith and Stuart Kerr about the formation of Arrow Comics, and we had Dan Fogel on for an interview, and he is a grand, I guess we'd say, Grand Master of Underground Comics, and did Fogel's Guide to Underground Comics. And then the other interview that's up there is primarily Daphne's interview with Trina Robbins. And if you don't know who Trina is, you definitely want to watch that interview. It is a great one about women in the industry and Trina's experiences in the comic market, both underground and mainstream. So make sure you go over there. That's the Raging 2 Network on YouTube. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends about the great programming that's on this channel, because we really need to grow our subscriber list. And the bigger we get, the more reach we'll have and the more interesting programming that you will see on that channel. So please go over there, like and subscribe, tell your friends. The other thing, I'm looking for an article that I haven't been able to find or bring up in the news for a new DC book. 2 Supergirls, 1 Cup. If anybody finds any information out about that, please let me know. I would love to find an article on it so that we could bring it up here and on the ZimmCast.
2 Supergirls, 1 Cup.
2 Supergirls, 1 Cup. Yep. Also, HBO announced a new series that the new live action series. Did you see that? Did you see that? I was hoping Stone would be here.
Nope.
Let me share it because you'd have to see it. This is on the up and up. And they just cast it as well.
Oh, the Wonder Twins.
Oh, yeah, the Wonder Twins, yeah.
What?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I remember now. Yep.
HBO Max's Wonder Twins comedy series has cast its leads.
They don't look
Wonder
like
powers activate.
Oh, who's the leads? Who?
I get a couple of blonde people. That's all I get.
A couple of what? Couple of wonkies. What?
Blonde people. However you want to put it.
The latest DC characters headed to HBO Max in their own series are alien siblings, the Wonder Twins, in a new live action comedy. This is what happens when you get one show that's unique. All of a sudden, you have 5 shows that are copying.
Yeah.
I just kind of have to laugh at the Wonder Twins because it's like they used to transform into the weirdest shit. Like the guy would transform into like a puddle of water, and that's all.
Yeah. That's all he could do is transform into any type of liquid or form of that liquid of water.
And then she would transform into an animal.
Any animal.
Yeah.
Like an awesome animal, and he was like a bucket of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always that. And
Or sheet of
I'm an
ice.
ice cube, huh? Yeah.
Or ice cube. Yeah.
The shape-shifting characters first appeared in the Hanna-Barbera animated series, The All-New Super Friends Hour. Deadline is reporting that casting has taken place and that Zan, who has the power to take on any form of water, will be played by Riverdale star KJ Apa.
Oh, God. Okay.
While his sister
Wait.
Jaina, with the
that's
power to
Jughead?
shift into any animal, will be played by 1883 actress Isabel May.
I don't know who it is. I know it's not Jughead.
No announcement yet on who plays the Blue Monkey.
I'm trying to think. It's not Ray,
Probably
so-
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
God,
Yeah,
don't
you're probably
say that.
right.
Jeez.
Oh, God.
Perfect casting.
If it's Seth Rogen, you can just go ahead and put a fork in it now.
Oh.
The characters may have had their start on an animated series, but a few other DC characters, they made the jump to comics in '77 in the Super Friends comic by E. Nelson Bridwell and Ramona Fradon.
And they had their own series just recently in, like, I want to say 2016, 2017.
Nobody wants to talk about that, though.
Yeah, let's see.
Not even DC. Not even DC. They also have appeared in other media, including live action appearances on Smallville and The Flash. I don't remember them on either one of those, but
I
They
do
ever showed
remember
up
on
with the Flash?
Smallville.
That must have been after I stopped watching The Flash. Because I should have.
It was
was
very short.
stupid.
It was very short lived.
So be on the lookout for the Wonder Twins series coming to HBO Max because, they have nothing better to film.
Nothing better.
What?
But come on, they did such a good job with that one guy.
Well,
that one guy, that Peacemaker dude. Yeah.
You haven't watched Doom Patrol yet, right?
No, I have not, but I'm sure it's good.
You have to watch that.
I'm sure
gotta watch Doom Patrol.
Again, Brendan Fraser as Robot Man is classic.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sure.
It's not only that, they do a lot of callback to the not just the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol, but earlier Doom Patrol.
Yes.
So,
it took them a long while to really establish Rita Forrest, we know her back in the 1960s, but they finally eventually get there.
Including the big red robot, but we're not going to talk about that.
The big red robot.
Don't tell them about that. That's a secret.
So here we are, Thunderdome. Cameron says they need the Thunderdome. Cameron, thanks. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for everybody for listening. Thanks to all my guests that popped in.
It was a pleasure.
Want to say sorry to Stone. He had to skip out for a bit, and to Scott and Juan and everybody else that didn't bother to pick up the links. Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe not, but maybe next time. So we wish you all the best. We hope you have a great week. I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can catch me again on Sunday Funny, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. I'll have as my guest anybody that'll answer my call. So if you love comics, get a hold of me. Maybe we'll have you on. Then I'll be back again on Tuesday for dispatches, and then we'll be back here again next Wednesday for another ZimmCast. Other than that, you can catch me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. Don't try to look for me over on Twitter. It's a cesspool of hate. And also, anybody out there has heard from Sana Amanat. I'm very interested to know what she's doing now, if anything. So please let me know. We might have to send out a search party. Apparently there's been a Twitter, but I'm not sure. So anybody that knows, I was going to bring this up earlier. I'm very concerned.
Well, she's got to show up. Her show's going to be premiering soon. So,
does she? What kind of show? Podcast?
Miss Marvel.
That's Miss Marvel, and all of her powers are messed up. So, from what it was,
they did scrub all of her powers.
Yeah, I saw today that I think it was a Perch video on YouTube where he's talking about they're going to cast Reed Richards as an African American.
Wait, why?
I don't know
why.
I don't know. Same reason they cast Human Torch in the last movie that sucked. So
I don't know what they're gonna do with the Fantastic Four now.
On the Fan Four Stick movie.
I mean, they just kind of could keep it how it was before.
Yeah.
Well,
what was wrong with it?
There are some things that need to be left in their own time period. And the Fantastic Four was a phenomenal statement about the Cold War. And there was Marvel even did a deconstruction of it called Unstable Molecules.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That I think Guy Davis did the artwork on. Mm-hmm. And they should adapt that and then leave it alone. And leave them in the 60s back when they were actually fantastic, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? Send me your opinion over on thezimcast@gmail.com. I keep forgetting to run that banner, but I'm always looking for your opinions. If there's anything that you feel we need to discuss on the air, thezimcast over at gmail.com. Thezimcast@gmail.com. All right, everybody, we're taking off. We'll see you soon. We love you all. Make sure you subscribe to Ragin 2 Network, and we shall see you soon. Take care, everybody, as he sets up the outro. Here we go. Take care, everyone. This kind of ties back into our discussion about Connor Hawk earlier.
Later.
Here we go.
Well, you guys took that.
You know something? Sooner or later, I rub everybody the wrong way, and well, let me think about it.
God, aren't you even gonna kiss her goodbye?
No.
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
How can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Everybody.